Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'll be sharing an extensive showcase of Block 1 of version 2 of the Fenix A320, one of the best airliners out there available for Microsoft Flight Sim on PC, and my goodness, it has got even better. Join me today as we complete a flight from Manchester to Newquay. So another hello to you all. Now first off, let me explain what I'll be doing in today's video, as it's a bit different to what I normally do. I'm sort of just going to talk and fly in the background, speak about my experiences with the Fenix A320, which of course has been updated to version 2, Block 1. Now of course it's been split into blocks, as you can tell, I keep going on about it. So this is Block 1, Block 2 is coming later into the year, September, October time, from what I've been hearing on the internet. Now the main point of version 2 to a lot of people was a revamped exterior, the IAE engines, VNAV improvements, general autopilot improvements, and handling improvements. Block 1 doesn't tick all those boxes. The main improvements here are sounds, autopilot, handling, and performance. And I have to say, performance is the winner here. Now, I highly recommend you do update your Fenix A320 if you've got the update on your system, and I don't know why you wouldn't. That being said, this is fresh out of testing with a limited number of testers. There may be bugs with version 2 Block 1. I can't say I experienced any game changing bugs that actually broke the game, except for my horrific flying. That being said, don't expect this to be 100% seamless, although in my experience it is. Now to very quickly talk about the flight today, it's a very short domestic hop here in the UK, flying from Manchester Airport in North England down right to the southwest in Newquay, which is in the beautiful county of Cornwall. Here's a little route map on the screen now. Now back to the Fenix A320, as that's the main focus of this video. Version 2 Block 1, well, the highlight to me really is performance. I'll share some charts which have kindly been provided by the Fenix team on the screen now, so you can see some nice comparisons. Now I have to say, on the whole, compared to when I last flew around with a Fenix A320, and to be honest with you all, I'm not a massive A320 frequent flyer, but I'm experiencing 10 to 15 FPS more from when I was last flying around with it. That is a game-changing number. That means when I get around to it, I can increase settings and on the whole enjoy this aircraft a lot more. Now there is a multitude of improvements which I'll be speaking about today. I'm not an A320 pilot, so my flying's going to be pretty terrible. I'm not too used to this aircraft, so I'm sure people will complain in the comments, so do let me know if I'm doing something slightly wrong. I'll take your constructive criticism. That being said, let's taxi from the gate here. I didn't film pushback, sadly, so we're going to hop straight on the taxiway and get flying. Now as we taxi along one of Manchester's taxiways, you might notice how boring and default this airport is looking. I do own the Mako Simulations Manchester Airport, but it seems I can't re-download it off their website, and I cleared up my community file a few weeks ago, so I must have deleted it in the process. But speaking about the Fenix A320, I can't say taxiing wise it felt too different compared to my last experiences, but as you'll hear on takeoff in a moment, sounds are just incredible. I don't think I've flown an aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim that sounds the way this aircraft does. It sounds absolutely beautiful. One thing I still have an issue with, and this might just be my button bindings, is with the honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant. The lights don't work inside the cockpit, but when I go outside the cockpit, the light buttons somehow switch aircraft lights on and off, going off the honeycomb Bravo quadrant. So maybe that's just a bug with my bindings, but I still have issues with that. That being said, this aircraft's pretty smooth to taxi, so let's taxi round to the holding point, stop for a moment before we head off into the skies. So I don't think I'll be winning any awards for staying in the middle of the runway there, but a nice takeoff nonetheless. I think the sounds are just incredible, and that's why I did not speak in any moment during takeoff there. Honestly, it was such an immense experience with headphones on for the first time with the new sounds there. Let's work our way up to a cruise of 27,000 feet. So as we climb closer up to our cruise level of 270, although originally I think it was planned to be 310, but this flight was only 45 minutes long, so it really wasn't worth going too much higher. Let me just speak about my thoughts on the Fenix A320. It's well known that it was a bit pricey. I think it was around 50 UK pounds when I bought it, and I know a lot of people were like, oh, why do we need an A320 when we've already got a freeware A320 by fly-by-wire? But I have to be honest, this is now leagues apart. Now that's not to discredit fly-by-wire, they're doing it all for free and they've done an absolutely marvellous job. But Fenix have gone leaps and bounds above what I've personally seen for any flight simulator. But I have to say, with Block 1 version 2, the Fenix A320 is so much more enjoyable. It takes the one major shortcoming of what I would say the Fenix A320 was, and that was bad performance, and fixes it in a way that is almost mind-blowing. It is so smooth to fly. That does mean you should expect a good landing at the end, but that could not be further from the truth. But all in all, this was really fun to fly, and I really did enjoy it. Now, textures have also been sorted out in the cockpit, although I haven't got any direct comparisons. Aside from that, in terms of autopilot, while I personally didn't have any problems with it on the initial release of the Fenix A320, I have to say it worked perfectly on today's flight with no hiccups. That being said, enjoy the view from the wing. We'll see you when we begin our descent down into Cornwall. Shortly after flying over the Bristol Channel, it was time to descend. VNAV, as always, picked it up very nicely. Compared to a lot of aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim, Fenix from the very beginning has had a fully functional autopilot system. Therefore, this was no issue for this aircraft, a very simple descent with no steps in the way, so no complaints here. Happy days. The aircraft listened to me exactly how it should have. Really short cruise today, by the way. It was only about 10 minutes long, so really not long enough for a meal service. I imagine only Coca-Cola and peanuts were served, although not for free as we're flying EasyJet. Now, as we marvel at some of the sights over Somerset, Devon and Cornwall, let me talk about the changelog as it is available on the Fenix Sim website. I would recommend you read this because there's plenty of features that I won't touch upon in this video because maybe they're not so visible. From Microsoft Flight Sim de-icing systems now working with the Fenix A320 to some autopilot fixes that are too complicated for me to understand and therefore explain. The big ones for me personally are performance. Optimizations inside and out have been plentiful, and trust me, with version 2 Block 1 you definitely feel that. That aside, sound has seen some incredible improvements. From the buzzsaw many people would hear outside passenger views like this being toned down just a little bit to improve realism, to improvements in sounds on takeoff roll and of course landing rollout as well. The list is endless, so please do check out the changelog on the Fenix Sim website because, as you can guess, it explains it a lot better than I ever could in a short and digestible video. Getting closer to the ground, it was time to prepare for landing, and it was a very windy Nuki with about 22 winds gusting to the side, so a direct crosswind from the left. Now for me that meant my first landing was absolutely terrible. I think it was a combination of trying to get this video done, trying out the 320 for the first time in a long while, and my terrible piloting skills in general. So after my first landing attempt, I went around, sadly had to restart the sim just because I went away and had to do something else, tried to land again and it was a slightly better landing, so it's the one you'll see in today's video. Now Nuki Airport, which is located almost in the centre of Cornwall, used to be RAF St Morgan and is now actually the UK's first spaceport. Some of you might know it of being the place of Virgin Orbit's failed launch at the start of this year. It's a really beautiful airport and I flew into it actually a few days ago when I visited Cornwall, so it's one of the reasons why I selected this route, although I flew from Stansted and not Manchester. As you fly down into Nuki Airport, you'll see plenty of tin and china clay open pit mines that have been left as a constant reminder of Cornwall's industrial past. Most of them aren't in use anymore, but a few of them are. Those are normally the bigger ones, so that's a cool thing to look out for when you're flying into Nuki Airport. And hopefully you'll enjoy my first failed attempt at landing, which you can see here. I'm pretty sure I would have ripped the bloody gears off, and then you'll see my slightly nicer but still sort of terrible landing where, hey, the aircraft might have survived.
$500.
Light slope.
50, 40,
Too low. Terrain.
30, 20, retard. 10.
So yes, some absolutely terrible landings there that I'm really not proud of, but at the end of the day, this is my first time flying the A320 for quite some time, so it's nice to be back, although I'm sure the aircraft isn't so excited about my return as a pilot. On that note guys, the Fenix A320 has improved massively, thanks to Block 1, and I would recommend it. Super smooth and great fun to fly still. It's a unique challenge, nothing is easy with it, and you do have to read some books, or at least watch some YouTube tutorials in order to truly understand it. I would say I'm nowhere near there yet, hence my landings. On that note guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you did enjoy. I'll see you all around. Have a good one. Bye bye.